Hello, I'm Leslie, Fightmaster for Poppy and Seed. Today's class is focused on opening up our hips. So our hips get tight from sitting or from running or biking or pretty much everyday life. So we're going to start on our backs. And just connect with your breath. You can have your knees bent or straight, whatever's more comfortable to begin. Close your eyes and just start to breathe in and out through the nose. So we just take this short opportunity to connect in with the breath and also connect in with your body. So as you're breathing here, just take notice if there are any areas that feel like they might be a little bit tight or uncomfortable. And if you find any areas, just start to breathe right into those areas. Imagine you could send breath directly there. Now on your next exhale, draw your knees into your chest. Just gently rock side to side. Continue your steady breath practice and then reach for the pinky toe sides of the feet for happy baby. And we're going to keep your right leg as it is and extend your left leg out onto the floor so you're in half happy baby. And you'll get a bigger stretch here on the right side. So take a few breaths here in half happy baby. And you're trying to move this knee toward the armpit as best you can. And then we'll bend to the left knee, put the left foot on the floor, bring your right ankle just above it. Flex this right foot and bring your hands through to hold on to the left shin or behind the thigh. So notice this knee, it wants to drift in toward your chest. Instead of letting that happen, extend that right knee forward and make sure you keep this right ankle flexed. And you can stay right with this if this is a good stretch, or cross your right knee over the left knee. Reach out for the pinky toe sides of your feet, kind of like handlebars, and draw the legs in any amount. At the same time, reach the tailbone down toward the floor. And just 3 more breaths wherever you are. Let your shoulder blades relax. Relax your jaw. And then we'll release that back to happy baby. Now we'll keep the left leg as is and extend the right leg out. So again, you're moving the left knee toward the armpit and then extending the right leg out, point the toes up to the ceiling. Take 2 more breaths here. And then we'll bend the right knee. Bring your left ankle just past the knee. Flex the ankle. Bring your hands through. Hold on the right leg either behind the thigh or on the shin. Then watch this left knee, if you can, start to bring it forward so that the ankle and the knee are in the same line. And that'll help to keep the hips in line as well. And then draw the legs in any amount. Of course, the more you draw them in, the bigger stretch you're going to get. And then if this is good where you are, stay. If you want a little deeper, cross the left knee over the right. Reach for the pinky toe sides of the feet like handlebars, and then draw the legs in. And as you draw the legs in again, the more you draw them in, the bigger stretch you'll feel. Take 2 breaths here. And release it. Hug the knees in, roll off to your right side. With your left hand, press up, and we'll cross at the shins. Right shin in front of the left shin. And inhale, sweep the arms up. So reach up tall. As you reach up, let your shoulder blades soften away from the ears. As you exhale, bring your fingertips onto the floor. Inhale, pull your chest forward. Either stay or exhale, walk yourself forward any amount. Doesn't have to be far, just until you feel a stretch. Try and keep your inhales and your exhales equal in length. And then walk yourself back up. And we'll switch the cross of the legs. So now the left shin is in front. Sitting up tall. As you inhale, sweep the arms again out, around, and up. So you want to lengthen up through all four sides of the waist as you root down through your sit bones. And as you reach out through the arms, let your shoulder blades just soften away from the ears. On the exhale, extend forward, hinging from the hips, fingertips on the floor, then pulling the chest forward on your inhale. Exhale, start to walk forward any amount. Doesn't have to be far. You could also stay up here if you already feel a stretch in the hips. Never matters how deep you go into a stretch, just as long as you feel one. And now again, focus on the breath. Inhales and exhales equal in length. On your inhale, start to walk yourself up. And then we'll roll forward onto the hands and knees. And then take your knees a little bit wider than hips width and take your hips back toward your heels. So the legs are wide, but we're in child's pose. And walk your arms as far forward as you're comfortable. And rest your head down on the floor if it reaches. If not, you don't have to touch the floor. Stay for a few more breaths, again bringing the hips toward the heels, and as you do that with the knees wide, start to stretch out the hips. And then make sure that your arms are extended as far forward as you can, and wrists and elbows off the mat. Start to press extra weight into the thumb and first finger side of the hands and spin these triceps down toward the floor and the biceps up toward the ceiling. And then keeping the hands right where they are, come up onto the knees. Line up your knees right in front of your ankles, tuck the toes, lift the hips, and come into down dog. And then just start to bend one knee and the other, bicycling the legs. Way up high onto the balls of the feet. Bend the knees, keep your hips up high, lengthening the spine, and then start to reach the heels down any amount. And then as you inhale, we'll lift the right leg back and up, lifting from the inner thigh, so hips are level, outer right hip down. Don't let it open up. As you exhale, lightly step it up by your right hand and take your left knee to the floor for a low lunge. On your inhale, I'm just going to stay here on the fingertips for a moment. Pulling the right hip back, sending the left hip forward. If you can't reach on the fingertips, then rest on your knee. That's fine too. Bring your chest forward. And try to keep the hips and shoulders squared off toward the front of your mat. And then inhale to come up. Reach up. Keep pulling the right hip back. Pull in the belly and sink in again. Start to pull your front heel toward the back of the mat, back knee toward the front of the mat. But make sure this knee is right over the ankle. So if you pull this heel back and like you're dragging the left knee forward, you'll get in a little deeper. If that's too deep, don't do it. Then we'll bring the hands on the inside of the right foot. So next to the big toe of the right foot, pull the chest forward on your inhale. You might already feel a really good stretch here. You could also place your hands on a block or a book if you have one. Or if you'd like to go in deeper, you can take your forearms down to that block or a book or the floor. Now your knee might want to go out to the side. If it has to, turn your right toes out to the side too so that they're lined up. If it doesn't have to and you can keep it, drawing in toward the shoulder, do that instead. Just a couple more breaths here. Try and soften again the shoulder blades, soften the jaw. And then bring your hands to the floor. Walk up, bring your right hand on the outside of the right foot. Tuck your back toes under, lift the knee, and step back into plank pose, top of a push-up. We're going to lower all the way to the floor, and you can always take your knees down first if you'd like to. Shift forward about an inch, hug your elbows in, and lower. Hands by the low ribs. Inhale, cobra pose. So pulling the chest forward, reach back through the toes. Tailbones reaching toward the heels. Pubic bone presses down gently. And then lower down. Exhale, press up. Tuck the toes, down dog. On your next inhale, left leg comes up. Again, lift it from the inner thigh so your hip doesn't open, but it stays nice and neutral. Exhale, step it all the way up. Right knee to the floor. And come on up. Actually, we'll keep the fingertips down first. Sink your hips forward. Your chest is lifted. So again, if they don't reach, if your hands don't reach very easily, just rest up onto the knee. If they do, try and sink the hips forward, pulling the left hip back, sending the right hip forward. One more breath here. And then we'll come up all the way on your inhale. Sweep the arms up. Turn your palms toward the back of the mat a little bit. Zip up your belly, your hip points lifting toward the lower ribs, and then start to sink in, keeping that. And then finally, if you can, start to pull your left heel toward the back of the mat. Drag your right knee toward the front. But make sure this knee and ankle stay lined up. And the hips square up toward the front of the mat. Let's take one more breath here. And hands on the inside of the foot. Inhale, pull your chest forward. As you exhale, you can stay right here, or you can bring your hands on top of something, or your forearms on top of something, or forearms on the floor. Now, if your left knee is turning out to the left, then you'll turn the toes out with it, but try to keep the knee pointed straight ahead. Bring your chest forward and breathe here. This is called lizard pose. It's a pretty intense stretch, so only go as deeply as what works for you. And then on your inhale, bring your hands down, up, or come up onto your hands if you were on your forearms. Bring your left hand on the pinky toe side of the left foot. Lift the back knee. Come into plank. Knees can be up or down, chaturanga. Inhale to cobra or into up dog. Thighs and knees off the floor if you're an up dog. Exhale back into down dog. Stretching back here. Draw the belly in. And then from here, now walk your hands back to your feet. Bend the knees as needed. And grab the opposite elbows, folding forward. Gently rock side to side. If your knees are bent, you can have weight more toward your heels. But if you can straighten your legs, pull up on your kneecaps, firm your leg muscles, and shift the weight a little toward the balls of the feet so it's nice and even. And let your hands hang down, heel toe your feet, or just walk them about as wide as your mat. And we're going to come into Malasana squat. So as we pretty much always do, knees and toes line up. So some people can take this squat with the feet parallel with the outside of the mat. My squat doesn't work that way. So my toes turn out, and then I just point my knees in the same direction. Bring your hands right into your chest and sit up nice and tall. So this pose is really great for lengthening your spine, and it takes the pressure off of the lower vertebrae. So if you sit in a desk a lot, the low back gets compressed. This pose will help to lengthen it. So if you're at work and you've been sitting a lot, just get up on your chair like this. You can type, you can answer the phone, all of it. And people might question you, but just tell them it's good for your back. Let's take just 2 more breaths here. And then we'll slowly start to straighten the legs. Take the feet to parallel if they were turned out, and come into downward facing dog. Let's take a breath here, lengthen the spine. And then looking forward, we're going to come through and sit. Bend the knees, stepping or hopping to sit. And onto your back. I'm going to come into bridge pose. Stretch out the front of the body a little bit, as well as the hip flexors. Take your feet hips distance apart. Make sure the outer edges of the feet are parallel and the heels are right underneath the knees, and arms are by your sides. Pull in the belly. Hip points lift up just a little bit. Press into the heels. Lift your hips, your low back or mid back, maybe the upper back. You can keep the hands flat or interlace the fingers and roll the shoulders under. Keep your chin away from your chest, but your chest is lifting up toward the chin. Tailbones reaching to the backs of the knees, and the inner thighs press down. They spin down toward the floor. And then we'll release, roll down, take the soles of the feet together, knees apart, and rest just for a couple breaths. We're going to do the same thing. One more. Take the feet again, hips width apart, outer edges of the feet parallel, arms by your sides, press down into the heels, pull in the belly, and lift up. And then palms can stay, or you can point your fingertips up, kind of rolling the shoulders under, or roll the shoulders under and interlace. Chin away from the chest. And one, come on down and hug your knees into your chest. And just rock a little bit here. And then let's roll off to the right side. And with your left hand, come on up. And we'll extend the legs in front of us. And then bend your right knee. Right sole of the foot to the inner left thigh. If you're sitting here and your back is rounded, especially in the lower back, grab a pillow or a folded blanket and sit right on the edge of it. And then inhale, arms reach up. And exhale, turn toward the straight leg, hinge from the hips, come forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale to extend. And then again, back to your steady breathing. And try to get as much length through the torso as you can, especially on the left side. So we don't want to round the back and come down. We want to take some length through the spine, leading with the chest. And that means you might be here. And that's perfect. Inhale, head up. Exhale, release. So, a couple of options. You're either going to keep this leg straight, or if it feels okay, to bend the knee with your left heel next to your left hip. Do that. And if it feels okay and your hips are open enough to take your right leg into half lotus, heel toward the navel, set it across, you could do that. So the left hand's going to come across for a twist. The right hand will either be behind your back, or if you're in half lotus, wrap it around your waist and grab your toe. And then inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, rolling the right shoulder open and twisting. It's a nice open twist, so there's not any compression in the belly. Inhale, bring your head to center. Exhale, unwind. Release, extending both legs out in front of you. And then sitting up tall, bending the left knee, left sole of the foot to the inner right thigh. Pull the right toes back, reach up on the inhale, turn toward the straight leg, exhale forward, leading with the chest. Then pull your chest forward on your inhale. Keep extending through the chest as you exhale. So again, creating length. Come back to your nice steady breaths. Your inhales and your exhales are equal in length. Make sure that this right foot is flexed, the ankle is flexed, toes pull back. And then inhale, head up, exhale to release. So you're either going to stay here and you'll take your twist with the leg extended, or bend your right knee. The right heel is next to the hip. And then you would take your twist with the left hand behind, right hand on the left knee. Or heel to the navel, bring it across and set it down. Left arm behind you, reaching for the toes. Right hand across. Inhale, sit up tall, and exhale to twist. So if you find that you are taking this half lotus and it bothered your knee or your ankle, then just release it. It's not worth any pain. We don't want any pain in yoga. It's okay to feel a stretch, but no pain. On your inhale, head to center, exhale, release, extend both legs in front, flexing the ankles. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, hinging forward from the hips. Inhale, pull the chest forward and lengthen the spine. Exhale to extend, gazing toward the toes, or if you're down lower, the shins. But make sure not to let your head drop and no rounding the back. Lead with the chest. Breathing here. Inhales and exhales equal in length. You can also use your breath to possibly come in deeper to the pose. You don't have to, but it's a way that you can practice. So as you inhale, you'll get some length through the spine. As you exhale, you'll sink in any amount. And then inhale your head up. Exhale to release. And come on to our backs. And one more happy baby so we can compare to the one in the beginning. Hopefully you have a little bit more space in your happy baby. You've got a little more movement in your hips. And then we're going to make our way into Shavasana. So traditionally, Shavasana, legs are out, feet flop open, arms by your side, shoulder blades down, palms up. But today, since we're working on the hips, if you'd like, option to take soles of feet together, knees apart, and take your Shavasana in Supta Baddha Konasana. So you choose. Once you get into your final resting position, just close your eyes. Let everything sink into the floor and just natural breathing. you are. Take a slightly deeper breath in. As you exhale, if your soles of feet are together, knees apart, bring your hands to the outsides of the thighs to draw the legs together. If your legs are extended, bend the knees, feet onto the floor. Take your arms overhead for a little stretch. And then just roll yourself over to your right side, pausing a moment for gratitude for all of our blessings. And then with your left hand, press yourself up and take a comfortable seated position. And we'll bring our hands together. Close your eyes here. Take a moment to thank yourself for taking your practice today, keeping your body healthy and strong. And I honor you for your practice, your yoga on and off the mat. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste. I'm Leslie, Fightmaster for Poppy and Seed. If you'd like to see some more Fightmaster yoga, you can go to fightmasteryoga.com. And I hope you have a great day. See you next time. Bye.